Okay, we're going to get going. Welcome, everybody. As you know, well, put it this way, another storm or two like this, and we're going to be down to one-lane roads instead of 1.5-lane roads. I was mentioning to a couple of people that the schools in Waterbury canceled today because the school buses and cars cannot get by each other on the side roads. So it's creating for an interesting set of infrastructure problems. So people will trickle in as we get going. We'll go a little bit late, but let's get started. And I'm Philip Simon. I'm Director of Interactive Communications Graduate Program at Quinnipiac University, one of the co-sponsors of the program. And I'm going to immediately introduce Dan Weingrod from Cronin & Company, one of my co-conspirators, who will moderate, introduce our speakers, and tell you about a couple of the next social breakfast, and let him take it from there. Okay?
All right. Thanks, Phil, and thanks, thanks everyone for making it here today. Just a quick question: how many people here are here for the first time? Oh, I tell you, new converts, they have the most energy and things like that. This is what's truly been amazing is that and I spoke to a couple folks earlier about this. As I noticed the people confirming and joining in here, what we've seen more and more is that more and more people are finding out about this through, of all things like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and in fact social media. And so, first of all, thanks for making it out this time, and hope you enjoyed, and certainly hope that you tell more and more of your friends, because we have got some really great things coming up over the next few months, and this will come out in some of the emails to you as we go along. Now that you're on our list, on March 4th, we will have a panel on social media and metrics, and it's going to be an absolutely fantastic panel. We'll have Katie Payne, who really is, the deaness of social media and PR metrics, around. I mean, this is someone who works with Facebook on metrics. She'll be here along with representatives Lauren Vargas from Radian 6 and also representative from Lithium Media Metrics. And I think for anyone who's even vaguely interested in social media, we all know that the big question is, how do you measure, how do you deliver ROI, how do you actually get back to your clients and say, we actually moved the needle? So it's a huge, huge opportunity, and urge you to let your friends know about this. It's going to be really very, very exciting. Following that, on April 15th, that's a tentative date, we are going to do a panel suggested by Mr. Derek Beer, here on social media and the media. In other words, what is the role that social media is playing in the media? Television, newspapers, blogs, the whole world of that, and how it really has a huge and seismic shift. And you don't have to go far from looking at today's headlines of what's going on in Egypt and yesterday's headlines of going on in Tunisia to understand what an earth-shaking situation this is, and a huge opportunity for discussion and change.
And for that one, the guests haven't confirmed yet, but I'm working on a longtime TV journalist in Connecticut, a longtime former Hartford Current journalist who now is running a regional patch editor, and then someone who's more newer to the domain, who's coming up through web news, and hasn't been in any traditional media. So it should be a good group.
So very exciting.
Our own Rich Hanley, who's director of the graduate program in journalism, is going to moderate it. He's the guy you hear on with Faith Middleton doing the pizza burgers and beer thing every week, if you've heard that.
And then the final one for this year will probably be the end of April, beginning of June, and I can't give you details. It's not 100% confirmed, but we will have. Looks like we'll have at least the chief innovation officer of one of the top agencies in the United States here to talk about how his agency has adapted and moved towards social media. This guy is a brilliant, dynamic speaker, and more details to come once we firm that up. So a lot of exciting stuff thanks a lot for you coming in. And you know, let's move on to introducing the panelists here. It was just a really fantastic group that we have an opportunity to listen to. First of all, Anita Hall, Anita is a social media strategist at Pitney Bowes. She leads the company's social media strategy, including governance initiatives, channel development, and social media word-of-mouth campaigns. In her role, Anita teaches others how to engage in social media on behalf of the Pitney Bowes brand. In 2008, Anita's work was profiled in Shel Israel's book Twitterville that focused on how businesses are using the microblogging services. She's a member of the Social Media Business Council Marketing Profs Program Advisory Committee, that's a mouthful, and the Usability Professionals Association, and you can follow her at Anita H., and her blog is anitahall.com. We also have Derek Beer. Derek, who's had more than 8 years' experience in marketing communications, with a client list longer than my arm, and my arms are pretty long. Bruegger's, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, School Nutrition Association, Bigelow Tea, and SureBank, just to mention a few. And really, the end result of what his work is helping clients achieve their goals. Derek served on the board of the Ad Club of Connecticut, has been part of over 30-plus award-winning campaigns in the public relations profession. He's also a renowned DJ and producer and has traveled to exotic locales such as Ibiza, Iceland, Munich, Miami, Los Angeles, and Hartford, in fact. Derek works at, he's a product supervisor at brand supervisor, at Mason Incorporated. And then finally, Margie Chimes, who stepped in at the last moment when a previous panelist had a medical commitment that he had to make. Margie is from Peppers & Rogers. Her expertise focuses on building reputations and driving demand by developing and executing enterprise-wide multi-channel marketing programs. She was responsible for all elements of the integrated marketing efforts at the global management consulting for Peppers & Rogers. Prior to joining Peppers & Rogers, she led branding and marketing at Ethan Allen and Polo Ralph Lauren. So we've got 3 people here, and the subject here today is actually a subject that was suggested by some of our surveys that we had of our attendees, and we will be sending out a survey next week and love to get your thoughts on it. And one of the things that kept coming up as a subject was the whole idea of social media and branding, and where does a brand actually live in this world where, face it, we may not have that much control over what's going on. So what we're going to do, we'll have each one of our presenters take us through their cases and their studies on that, and then we'll go to a panel discussions followed by questions. And first up is Anita.
Thanks so much, Dan. Whoa, can you see me? Ooh! You want me to go okay? How about that? A little better? You need a little. Hi, very excited to be here with Margie and Derek, and I know you braved the weather to be here, so I'm really thankful for that. Anita Hall, represent Pitney Bowes. I've been working in the area of social media for the past 4 years now, and actually interested in the area of emerging in social media before it was even appropriate to talk about it in a business setting. I wear many hats at Pitney Bowes, but the one that I'm really the most excited about is they let me explore. They let me be on the cutting edge of what social media can and cannot do for a brand, and particularly for communications and marketing. I am responsible for the overall social media strategy for Pitney Bowes that does not only pertain to marketing, but also communications, product development, customer service, and other areas. And I also teach others how to engage in social media on behalf of the brand. Oh, I need to do this too. So here I am. And actually, I'm obviously very active in social media, but blog being the hub, if you will, of my interactions. Any of you have a slightest, ooh, this is really dark, slightest idea what this monster is? This happens, well, maybe the Pitney Bowes name will kind of give it away. This happens to be a very poor picture of the very first postage meter that Mr. Pitney and Mr. Bowes invented back 90 years ago. And this obviously propelled us to the kind of the leadership in the mail stream. and we're very proud of that 90 years plus innovation. And probably when you come back to the office and grab the very first piece of mail, it would have been sorted, staffed, metered, somehow touched by a Pitney Bowes equipment or a mailroom representative. But we are clearly understanding what's going on in the environment around us, and physical mail is now only part of the game. Digital is where the future is, and that's the volleyball there is not actually part of the meter. It's it's actually representing something we're really excited about. This is a new, and I want to make sure that I get it right, a new secure digital delivery service for bills, for statements, for coupons and catalogs. This is something that would believe will revolutionize the way that consumers interact with mail digitally. Let's move on to the next one. And obviously, this is exciting. We're new. We're expanding our opportunities and capabilities, and we have an important job of now telling this story. And we do employ traditional channels. We still send press releases. We still set up investor calls. We still send people to pb.com. But we also exploring ways that we can push these messages in channels using social networks. But we are being realistic. We are a B2B company. We don't have a sexy product such as iPad or iPhone or whatever apps there is. So, we understand that probably folks out there, our customers or prospects, will not have the sudden urge to all of a sudden go and fan us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. We have to earn that. We have to be the responsible members of the social community. But again, you don't want to talk to logos, right? You want to talk to other individuals. And that's why I think that our employees have a pivotal role to play. If you give them tools, the training, and trust that they represent the brand in a way that is humanizes that brand, that you will be really very successful. Because let's face it, the area of personal and professional communications are merging. And I think that you need to empower your employees to be the brand ambassadors, and you can see the big heart there, and really make them storytellers on behalf of your brand. Let's see, this is now the reality of our corporation, that there are individuals who are rising above the level of traditional brand communicators or traditional brand marketers, if you will. And these folks, majority of them don't have a formal media training. They represent, first of all, themselves in social media, but also they represent the brand. And obviously we do worry. We worry about the message consistently. We worry about, legal issues that might come up. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But because of these three individuals here, the amount of traffic coming to the thought leadership portal of Pitney Bowes skyrocketed, but in a couple of days by 50%. And this is really powerful because of these individuals started to blog, and these blogs were really personal and powerful. Now, we're doing similar things on Twitter. We have 10 fully branded Twitter handles, and we have some that we call semi or not even branded at all. But these are, again, Pitney Bowes employees who are having very targeted conversations in social media with, and again, presenting themselves as thought leaders in the area of their expertise. Colette here is part of our PR team. It's actually the only person who has multimedia training. Amy is part of our investor relations. Here's Scott here, myself, my partner in crime here, to talk about the Pitney Bowes brand and actually represent Pitney Bowes at events and trade shows. And Ben here, who has, I think, the most important job of all, because he's the eyes and ears of Pitney Bowes and actually actively intercepts our customers when they're tweeting about having issues with Pitney Bowes. Actually very successful at converting them to someone who is clearly not very happy with Pitney Bowes, someone who has just discovered a new channel of communication, and an effective one at that.